Come on. You know what? Nope.
Are you having deja vu yet? I kind of am, actually. Feast your eyes. In front of you, there's another big package. It just arrived yesterday. And it's another decked pull-out drawer system. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you might remember about 4 years ago, I partnered with DECKED on a set of these drawers that went into my Sprinter van. And over the years, I've just fallen in love with this system. It's an awesome system that makes everything safer, smarter, and just, there's no going back for me. So basically I got another one. Long story short, I got another deck drawer system for Kylie's Toyota Tacoma. My girlfriend recently bought a truck about 6 months ago. And since we've been cruising around in the truck, we've quickly realized that there's some storage limitations. Not that much stuff fits in the cab. Sure, you can put stuff in the back of a truck, but it has to be stuff that can get wet. So we kind of considered all our options, and then I suggested that we put some deck drawers in, and that's what we ultimately decided. So in this video, we are going to install these drawers in a short bed Toyota Tacoma. Then I'll kind of cruise around, give you a tour. We'll look at what the drawer system looks like in the truck versus a van, maybe do some compare and contrast, and it should be educational and fun. So that's what we're gonna do. It's important to note that this is a sponsored video. DECKED is my sponsor, and so if you're looking for an unbiased review, you're not gonna find it here. That being said, I love the company. I dig the people that work there. I love the products that they make. They're not fluff. And so everything that I'm about to say is from the heart. I believe it. It's tried and true. And so my conscience is gonna remain clear. All right, let's do it. Let's hop to it. Have to drill some holes in your truck bed right about there. And then you're gonna need a friend to help you tighten the bolt and the nut. I don't have any friends, so I have to go under the truck myself and try and find this bolt. There it is. How I'm gonna tighten it, I have no clue. just like that, the deck system is assembled. We have some little accessories that I'm going to talk about at length tomorrow. I got some tracks that you can cinch stuff down on top of this bad boy with. Drawer number 1 with a little D-box, kind of a toolbox, I guess. And then drawer number 2 is a little bit bigger. And it's got all sorts of dividers, all sorts of little trays, another big D-box. And it came together beautifully. So what I'm gonna do today, because I'm tired, I've been doing this all day, I'm gonna go home and rest. And tomorrow, with better audio, I'm gonna talk about all this. For me, this is gonna be a long time. For you, it's gonna be instant. Ready, set. The top of this deck box supports 2,000 pounds. The time has come. Let's break it down part by part and do a show and tell. The very first thing I want to show you is the depth. This drawer system comes in at 12 inches deep. And on a bed like the Toyota Tacoma, that's only 19 inches deep, it's gonna eat up most of your truck bed. So 19 minus 12, that's 7 inches. When this thing is installed, you're gonna have a 7-inch deep truck bed left. So obviously that's not ideal. That more or less means that this drawer system is not gonna be for everybody. If you're somebody that uses your truck bed regularly, you probably don't wanna fill the whole thing with a drawer system. Then again, you might. So for our household, this is Kai's daily driver. She takes it to and from work. And on occasion, we have to move some furniture or do a dump run. And so I think moving forward with this deck system installed, we're gonna have to build up the sides so that we can still do all those things while also benefiting from our wonderful drawers. Another thing I've been kind of contemplating is that perhaps this is gonna be like a seasonal system where in the fall and winter, when the weather's crappy, we put the deck box in the truck. We use it essentially like a truck canopy. You know, everything's waterproof, everything's watertight. You can put stuff in there that doesn't fit in the cab and keep it safe from the elements. And then in the spring and summer, this thing comes out and it becomes a fully functional truck again. So that very well might be a possibility and something worth considering. All right, so let's start with this little drawer. The short bed Toyota Tacoma system has 2 different sized drawers. In the van, in the Sprinter van, where I have another system, it has 2 drawers that are roughly the same size. And I say roughly, but they're exactly the same size. I have 2 drawers that are this size. But in the Toyota Tacoma system, you get 1 smaller drawer and 1 bigger drawer. I presume this is because the bed is kind of small and so they had to make it fit. And I actually think it looks kind of cool. It's, you know, might help the organization where some things that are smaller are gonna go here, some bigger things are gonna go there. And so I think that's kind of a neat feature. Both drawers are lockable. They have these little plugs that come out. And you can fit little decked locks in them. I plan to do this, but I just have not got them yet. They're on order, they're just not here. So eventually, maybe I'll do a follow-up on how to install the locks. This little space is a magical little space. If you've seen any of my other Sprinter van videos, I store little parts in these compartments that are easy to lose. And it's just kind of a nice place where you can grab some of those parts. You can also see that the hinges are super durable. So when you close this, the drawer is locked and it's not going anywhere. Now another thing I've noticed on this brand new system, here, wait for it. Do you hear that little clunk? Let me do it again. So that little clunk seeds the drawer so that you can't shut it. And that's a nice little safety feature that I believe is brand new. I don't think I have this in my van. Here, let's listen for this side. And so what that feature does is it locks the drawer in the open position. And this is kind of a convenient safety feature because if my memory serves me, these drawers can store up to 400 pounds of weight, tools, tripods, whatever you want to put in them. And so when they're that heavy and they're open, you want them to lock, because without the lock, you could accidentally slam your fingers in it. And with 400 pounds of weight, that can turn out really bad. So kudos to DECKED. They're still innovating. They're still making tons of little features and improving their product. And I have to actually say that as I was putting this system together, I noticed about a dozen areas where they've innovated. Like, for example, these little wheels on the new system seem to be better quality than the one on my last one. So they're constantly changing and improving their design. I think that's a really notable, awesome characteristic of the company. Let's talk about these little dividers. Since the last version, they've also improved these. They fit a little bit more better into their perspective slots. There is a little bit of wobble. In my own Sprinter van deck box, I don't use these because I find that these little D boxes, they just kind of sit in there on their own pretty good. So there's really no need. But if you're somebody that really wants to separate his or her things, they could very well be convenient. And then they also have this new accessory called the drawer organizer, I believe. And it's a little tray that fits right around the latch. And you could put your power tools in here, just fill it with crud, and lift it out and set it back in without really cluttering it. And I think this is going to be a very useful feature because in my van, in the drawer system, you'll notice that it gets pretty cluttered. And I'm constantly kind of digging through there. And it's not too bad, but this might make it even better. Next, let's talk about these D boxes. That's a big D box. And this is a small D box. These are essentially DECKED's versions of toolboxes. And so each box has a nice little ruler on there. I presume that's for quickly measuring things, maybe fish, the fish that you catch. And then they also have a similar ruler on the back of their DECKED box. And surprisingly, this thing is pretty darn handy. You know, you can, if you're trying to cut some wood and you don't have a tape measure, you could line it up, get your measurement, and have a relatively precise cut going on. So they have that there. They have one on each perspective box. And you can see the inside is pretty self-explanatory. You can also subdivide this little box. It comes with a little tray. Each box is weather sealed. And in one of my videos, I actually took one of these D boxes and I threw it into the Puget Sound, and then I floated on it because they float, and found that they're basically waterproof. A little moisture did get in it, but for all intents and purposes, if you had expensive gear, power tools, that kind of thing in your D box, it would probably weather the storm. This one's a little bit bigger. It has some more dividers. And, you know, what you see is what you get. Important consideration is when you're putting the weather seal in, it's important to leave a little gap, a 1-inch gap. So don't continue it all the way. Otherwise, when you close this box, like so, let's It's really hard to do it with one hand. You're gonna vacuum seal this lid, and then it will be nearly impossible to open it. So leave a little gap in the weather seal. So I already mentioned this, but I'm gonna mention it again. These little boxes fit perfectly into the grooves in the drawers. And so you can kind of lock them in place, and then they don't really slide around. And what this equates to is that when you're driving down the road and you hit bumps, there's less road noise from the things that are in your drawer. And the same thing goes for the big boy. See how it kind of just locks into place right there? That's about as much wiggle as you get. And then if you want to push it even further, there's another set of grooves. And the box really isn't going anywhere. And then if you want to go really ham, you could just put those dividers in there, and then it really isn't going anywhere. I mean, look at that. That just fits so well. And I believe there's little clips you can use to affix this drawer organizer right there. And so it's gonna wiggle even less and be really easy to take in and out. So what is Kylie gonna put in her drawers? I have no idea. In my drawers in the van, this one's kind of dedicated to chargers, cords, camera stuff, and this is dedicated to tripods and things. So I take all the things that could potentially kill me if they're just floating in the van and stick them in the drawers and secure them, and then I never have to worry about it. What Kai's gonna put in her drawers, I have no say in, and so maybe in a couple months we'll check in and we'll just randomly pull open her drawers just to see how she has them set up. And I would be willing to bet that one of them will be full of shoes. Now let's hop up and I'll show you what's going on up top. These two tracks that you see are an additional accessory that you can purchase, and they're essentially just rails that have these little guys, and you can just use them as tie downs. I don't know about y'all, but I've never had enough tie downs. You know, you could have the 4 that come with the Toyota Tacoma, but I'm always running out of them, and it's nice to have 4 more, or 8 more for that matter. So you can buy as many of these little guys as you want and then slide them around as necessary. And that's really nice because as it sits, the plastic on top is a little bit slippery, so things tend to slide around. And so if you want to put like a cooler on here or anything, really, it's a good idea to cinch it down, or, you know, cover it with some sort of rubber pad to reduce that slipperiness. And that's ultimately what I did in the van. I put like a CrossFit mat down, and then I covered it with a green carpet, and it works really well. Now, one of my favorite features of this deck box is the ammo cans. So there's 2 of them in this particular configuration. In the Sprinter van, there's 4, 1 on each corner, but in the truck, there's 2. And the ammo cans are exactly what they sound like. They're just like little compartments where DECKED has optimized kind of dead space. And they're very good size, actually. You can put a lot of stuff into these guys. And so this one is going to be dedicated to straps and stuff. And this one is going to be dedicated to God knows what. Whatever Kylie decides to put in there, I suppose. And that's basically it in a nutshell. So let's conclude this video by saying that this is an awesome drawer organizer system for a truck. It's probably not for everybody, but if you choose to go this route, it's a product that I can stand behind. I've used such a system in my van for 4 years now, and I love it more and more with every day. And I presume that as Kylie and I keep using this system in the truck and keep learning stuff about it, I'm gonna shoot more videos and post them to this channel, Butenko Films. So keep an eye out for those. And for those of you interested to find out more about the deck system and you don't want to wait for those said videos, I'll link to my other Sprinter van related decked videos in the description below. So that's it, that's all. Thanks for watching. Toodles.